The baby. Get set go. There was a village boy Ramdeen. After his parents' death, he came to a rich family as an attendant of Ankur. Accidentally, Ankur's son has been lost of somewhere, but Ankur and his wife made Ramdeen responsible for it. Read what Ramdeen did to take away the sorrow of Ankur's family. Once there was a boy in a village. His name was Ramdeen. He was very happy with his parents, but soon his happiness turned into grief. His parents died when he was only 12 years old. To survive, he came as a servant to a rich family. He was given his master's little son Ankur to nurse. As time went on, the boy left Ramdeen's arms to go to school. From school, he went to college. He was very good at studies and became a doctor. Until Ankur married, Ramdeen was his sole attendant. Ankur had a son born to him. Ramdeen now paid all his attention to the little baby. Soon he got a complete hold over the child. He used to roll him up in his arms and talk to him in baby language. He would put his face close to the baby's face and then draw it away with a smile. Presently, the child was able to crawl and cross the doorway. When Ramdeen went to catch him, he would scream mischievously and make for safety. Ramdeen was surprised at the skill the baby showed when pursued. He would say to his mistress, "Your son will be a doctor someday." It was a new wonder to Ramdeen when the child began to toddle. When he called his father Baba, his mother Mama, and Ramdeen Chandan. Ramdeen's joy knew no bounds. He would go out and tell the news to the entire world. About this time, Ankur was transferred to a city on the banks of Narmada. On his way through Gujarat, he bought his son a little go-kart. Then the rainy season came. Day after day, it rained in torrents. One afternoon, the rain cleared. It was cloudy but cool and bright. Ramdeen's little master did not want to stay on such a fine afternoon. He climbed into his go-kart. Ramdeen went pushing the go-kart till he reached the fields on the bank of the river. All of a sudden the child pointed with his finger and cried, "Chandan for." Close by stood a large kadamba tree in full flower. The baby looked at it with greedy eyes. Ramdeen knew his meaning, but he did not want to go through the mud to reach the flowers. He quickly pointed his finger in the other direction, calling out, "Baby, look at that bird." But the little one was not ready to see anything. He only wanted the flowers. "Very well, baby," said Ramdeen at last. "You sit here in the go-kart. I'll go and get you the flowers. Only mind you do not go near the water." The moment Ramdeen had gone, his little master go down quickly from the go-kart and run away to the river. On his way, he picked up a stick. He leaned over the bank of the river, pretending to fish. Ramdeen had plucked a handful of flowers from the tree and was carrying them back. But when he reached the go-kart, the baby was not there. His blood frozen with him. There was darkness before his eyes. He was senseless at that time. Only he was crying, "Master, master, little master." But all in vain. Only the river ran on with its gurgling noise as before. As the evening passed by, Ramdeen's mistress became very anxious. She sent men all sides to search. They went with lanterns in their hands. At last they reached the banks of the Narmada. They saw Ramdeen rushing up and down the fields. He was shouting, "Master, master, little master." When they got Ramdeen at home at last, he fell at his mistress' feet. They shook him and questioned him. They asked him where he had left the child. But Ramdeen could only say that he knew nothing. Everybody believed that the river Narmada had swallowed the child. But the mother thought that Ramdeen himself had stolen the child. She called him aside and said, "Ramdeen, give me back my baby. Take from me any money you want." Ramdeen only beat his forehead in reply. His mistress ordered him to get out of the house. Ramdeen went back to his own village. Up to this time he had no child and there was no hope that any child would be born to him. But as luck would have it, before the end of the year his wife gave birth to a son and died. The baby was named Gautam. He learned to say Baba and Mama. His voice and sounds were surprisingly like those of the little master. A firm belief grew in Ramdeen's heart that his little master had been reborn in his own home. He now gave himself over body and soul to the new baby. He brought up the baby as if it were the son of a rich man. He melted down his wife's ornaments and got trinkets for the baby. He did not let the baby play with anyone in the neighborhood. As the child grew up to the boyhood, he became more and more spoiled. At last time came for the boy to go to school. Ramdin sold a small piece of land and went to Gujarat. There he got employment as a servant. Gautam was sent to school. Ramdin spared no pains to give him the best education. He gave him best clothes and the best food. He himself lived on a mere handful of rice. 12 years passed in this way. The boy was healthy and good looking. He paid a great deal of attention to his clothes. He was specially careful in parting his hair. Gautam could never look on Ramdeen as a father because, though fatherly in affection, he has the manner of a servant. Ramdeen grew older and older, he became very weak. His employer always found fault with him. The money he had brought with him from the sale of his land was finished. The boy always used to complain about his clothes, and he always asked for more money. At last Ramdeen made up his mind and gave up his work as a servant. He left some money with Gautam and said, I am going to the village and shall come back soon. He went off at once to his old master Ankur. Ankur's wife was still in grief. She had no other child. On seeing Ramdeen, grief has no bounds. Ramdeen was feeling very ashamed. He folded his hands and said, It was not the Narmada that stolen your child. It was I. Great God. Where is he? Said Ankur. He is with me, said Ramdeen. I will bring him the day after tomorrow. And then he went away. Ramdeen came back on Sunday, leading by the hand. Ankur's wife, without a question, took the boy into her arms. She kissed his hair and forehead. She looked at his face with the hungry eyes. Tears of joy ran down her eyes. The boy was very good looking. He was dressed like a gentleman's son. A wave of love sprang in Ankur's heart also. But he said, Ramdeen, have you any proof? How can I give you any proof? Only God knows that. When Ankur saw that his wife was hugging to the boy, his doubts have gone away. But Ramdeen, he said severely, now you must not stay here. Where shall I go, master? Said Ramdeen. I am so old. Who will take in an old man as a servant? Let him stay, said Ankur's wife. My child has come to me. I forgive him. No, I cannot trust him any more, said Ankur. Ramdeen pleaded. But Ankur remained unmoved. When Gautam came to know that he was a wealthy doctor's son and not Ramdeen's, he was angry at first, but seeing Ramdeen in tears, he said, Father, forgive him. If you don't want him to live with us, give him a small monthly pension. Ramdeen did not speak another word. He looked for the last time at the face of his son. Then he bowed respectfully to his old master and mistress and went out. At the end of the month, Ankur sent some money to Ramdeen's village, but the money order came back since there was no one of the name of Ramdeen.